Belonging to the sport means loving the animal. I don't think there's any way around it. So that's what drives us to doing it every day.
When I'm around horses, there's this sense of like absolute tranquility, even around the crazy ones. They're such amazing, trusting animals, and they're so big and they're so beautiful. How can you not be inspired?
The polo community revolves around horses, and that's one of the really special things for me about the polo community that I really love and cherish, because most people who stay in the sport for any length of time at all are there because of the horses, because there is a feeling that that's just how they want to spend their days, is at the barn. Of all non-human animals on this earth, the horse is the most indispensable creature for the development of mankind. They provided power, they provided transportation, they were the means by which the human species spread all over the world, and they also were indispensable for war and conquest. So if it hadn't been for the horse, there would have been a much slower progression of civilization. We do not depend on horses anymore on a daily basis. Most people don't. There are notable exceptions, but there is still sort of this atavistic desire, I think, among many people to be with horses. And the polo community is one of those communities that really thrives on that connection, and it allows people to still have horses be at the center of their universe.
So polo has all these multiple dimensions that make it addictive. There's the competitive aspect, there's the speed, there's the teamwork, the passing, the scoring goals, and the biggest thing it has is the connection with the equestrian athlete.
To work around horses, it's my passion, it's why I play polo. It's my biggest passion, the horses. I enjoy being every day at the barn. I enjoy making a plan on the horses. Thanks to the horses, I'm where I am, and my family has the quality of life that we have.
That's the #1 name of the game. That's why we all are there. That's what we do, is for the horses. That's the first love of every polo player, is the horses. They're your partners on the field, absolutely, for sure. But you know, the good horses, they love the game just as much as the players do.
We get on the horse and we feel them, you know, I don't know, you feel their heartbeat when they get on the field and they want to go do their job. And that's the trust and the confidence that we get as players when we get on them, and we know that the moments that we need them the most are there for us.
Polo ponies get to play, quote unquote, their sport in a herd, basically. And that is another aspect of the sport which is so natural for them, and is also very gratifying for the polo ponies, as they will be in the barn with their buddies, and they go out on set with their buddies, and often they get turned out with their buddies as well. And so they get to replicate a social environment much like a wild herd.
These things that we're asking them to do are essentially natural. They're the same things they do out in the pasture, which is run, stop, and turn. And so we're just trying to shift the controls to the human brain, and then you want to be as fluid with those movements as you can.
When you're playing, obviously, you and the horse, when you're in that zone with the horse is when you're in harmony with the horse, when you guys are both on the same page. That's the best feeling in the world, when the horse is with you.
When you look at their anatomy, like the way that they're built, you know, the structure of a horse, there's nothing that's unpleasing about looking at a horse. I mean, and then you throw like a polo player on top and the movement of the player, like a split second in a photo, there's like magic. It's super cool.
Sometimes certain horses have the ability to get some high height, having all four legs tucked under them in top speed. It happens too fast. A fan or a supporter can't see that. So I'm thrilled on my mind if I can be able to share these things that most people can't see.
There's 3 major tournaments that horses compete in the United States. The C.V. Whitney Cup, the USPA Gold Cup, and culminating with the U.S. Open, also known as the Gauntlet, these 3 challenging tournaments for the horses.
I believe that horses are the stars of the field. I mean, us as polo players, we owe it all to the horses. Horses are everything in the sport.
When I'm getting ready for a game, it's not just me getting my nutrition, my sleep, my exercise, but thinking about the 8 horses that are in the barn and trying to prepare them as individuals for the upcoming game. And I think that's the quality that makes it truly special.
A polo pony is like a very, it's an athlete that needs to cover a lot of traits. Just like any other sport, any other athlete, you know, you want those individuals that when the time matters, they want to win. The horse wants to win the bump. The horse wants to win the run. The horse wants to win the turn. So they have all these attributes. They have all these things that we look for, but then they need to be able to show them on the field. You want to have the fastest horse. You want to have the quickest, the acceleration, strong because it's got to deal with bumps, sensitive mouth. So it's like a joystick. You know, it's like a car that you feel like you can twist and turn and you can get to where you want to get if you make a quick decision.
First, is that she can stop and turn quickly. I like explosive horses, so I most like small horses, very agile and very explosive.
All those attributes are hard to find and put them together on one single horse. So that's why it's this passion that we have consistently to trying to get the best horse that we can. That also really depends on the player, you know, because every player might like a different style of horse.
One of my favorite horses is Iberia. She's super kind, she has a huge heart, she's super reliable. I feel like I've got all the confidence in the world on her, and she's beautiful, so she has everything.
I think that a horse that gives you confidence is the most important thing. I think that when you're on a horse and you feel good and you feel comfortable and you feel in harmony with the horse is what is most important.
The better rider you become, the more you know how to use that horse. And that's, I'm talking about 20 horses in the season. Once you get on, you have to be, knowing what that horse can give you or what that one can't. And that's how you find, between the group of the horses you have, a complete minutes of the whole game. And maybe you play 10, maybe you play 8, or maybe you play 15 horses. But you had an amazing game because you learn how to use every horse during the checkers.
The horse has huge awareness of what's going on around him. The horse really feels like they don't want to lose in that moment. So it's up to us again to find the kind of horse that aligns with our personality and the way we play so we can connect the best way.
If you have a good relationship with your horse, you're going to see it on the field, but you're playing 8 to 10, even, I usually didn't play more than 10 horses in a game, but you have different relationships with each of those 10 individual horses. So you're kind of adapting. When you get to know them well enough, it's almost an instinctive adaptation. But that's why we spend a lot of time in the barn, training them and building that foundation of trust, which works in both directions.
You know, we're fanatics of trying to win, and not only if we play polo, we go and play ping pong. We have that mentality, but the horse itself is what drives us to do this every day, because polo, at the end of the day, is a lifestyle, and the horse is the #1 part of it, and everything surrounds around them, you know.